Be good. You don't need to wear these quite just yet if you don't want to. Nothing on the screens you're looking at are going to have anything in 3D. So in the meantime, just hold on to these. And if you see something flying at your head, duck. It's real. All right? I probably threw it. I'll let you know when you need those a little bit later on. Thanks, Vince. For those of you who ended up on the left-hand side of your road, just be careful. These gates will be low here momentarily. Also, if there's any small children aboard today's tour's feet cannot touch a tram floor, or anybody's feet can't touch a tram floor, buy it. You want to make sure they're towards the center seat, at least one person on either side of them, making sure they're safe inside today. Want to make sure no one flies out of the tram again. Not again. I'm joking. Just want to make sure no one hits their head on the door. That's no fun. Now, have your cameras ready. You never know who or what you're going to see out there in the real working movie and television studio. Just keep your arms, legs, head, shoulders, knees, and toes inside the vehicle and remain seated throughout the duration of the studio tour. Now, I'm not driving this thing. You don't want that. I'm sitting backwards. Alright, that would be terrifying. With that, we got the man behind the wheel. It's Arvin, our driver. Arvin, say hi, Arvin. Hi, Arvin. Without him, we'd be parked here for like an hour and a half. That's boring. Or I'd make you push. That's what we do. Or do we walk? Either one. This is a much better situation. Show of hands, who here has never been on the studio tour before? Any first timers? We got a first timer over here. Don't worry, me too. Never done this, so. Right here, Ryan. No, I'm joking. Whether it's your first time or not your first time, we're gonna have some fun here today. I'm seeing a lot of Nintendo here. What's that all about? I'm joking. It's very cool to see that open. I know a lot of you are here for Nintendo, but anybody celebrating a birthday with us? Any birthday boys and girls? Hey, happy birthday, 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 birthday. Lots of birthdays. That's awesome. Well, let's give a nice wave goodbye to those lovely people to your left, because you're never going to see them ever again. Bye. Hello, everyone. My name is Tim. I'll be your guide today. With us today as a driver, Arvin. Good to see you again. We also have a co-star of the world-famous studio tour. You may recognize this guy from his shows That's My Jam on NBC or The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide and the greatest driver.
Arvin.
They're the best. I love them. Even though owes me $5.
Wait, what?
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Yeah, that's right, Jimmy. We do have a few safety rules. First and foremost, if you're in need of assistance of any kind, whether it's a medical emergency, if you drop something of value off the side of the vehicle, or if you're having any video or audio issues, you want to reach out and grab the little red cord that runs down the center of each car. That's the emergency cord. If you pull on that, we'll stop. We'll be back to help you as soon as it is safe for me to do so. Otherwise, for the remainder of the studio tour, please remain seated at all times to keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle. I do want to remind everyone there's no smoking of any kind during the studio tour, but you want to have your cameras ready at all times. Just be aware of any sudden tram movements, loud sounds, fire effects, and water effects. Make sure those cameras stay dry. Also, for your safety and the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while on board today, or in life in general. All right, let's get to the studio. We're going to leave the theme park behind for a little bit and head downstairs where it all began. On our way down this hill, though, I want to take a look on either side of the tram. You're seeing these movie posters on our movie studio timeline. These represent just a fraction of the over 8,000 movies that have been made here at Universal Studios in our over 170-year history. A whole lot of movies in a whole lot of time. And while these are just a few, you might recognize quite a few of the posters. Whether they're the classics up here like The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Psycho, or To Kill a Mockingbird, or today's action blockbusters further on down the hill. None of these movies would have happened, though, if it weren't for one man, our founder, Carl Lemley. Good old Uncle Carl, as we call him. He's the gentleman in the bow tie on your screens. He moved to the United States from Bavaria and brought with him the American dream of one day founding his own business. He did just that in 1912 with Universal Pictures. But a few years later, he moved out west, and on March 15th, 1915, he founded his own city right here in Southern California. We're still a Universal City. We have our own zip code, 91608. We have our own fire station. Look at it. They got the trucks pulled out. They got the doors open. Some of the firefighters are in there. They're like working on a table. I don't know what they're doing. We also have a sheriff station here. We have medical facilities, daycare facilities. We have a gym I don't go to. We have 3 Starbucks and a coffee bean. plus a giant theme park all in the middle of it. But there's something our city is missing that I know for a fact your city has. Residents. No one lives here. Rather than having residents, we have thousands and thousands of movie and television professionals who come here to work every day, and today's no different. Like I said, every camera's ready. A lot of those folks work here in the front line. This is where the headquarters for Universal Pictures is located. Also, a lot of work done for NBC Universal Television and our streaming service Peacock, also done here in the front line. This is also where the majority of our 36 sound stages are. Sound stages are giant warehouse soundproof buildings that you can build and film anything you want. Over to the left-hand side is the oldest and largest on the lot. That is Soundstage 12, over 90 years old and 29,000 square feet. Massive building, and massive movie sets you might recognize, including a Frankenstein's Lab were built in there back in 1931. Dracula's Castle built in there as well. That's where they built the mansion in Scarface, the Clock Tower, Back to the Future, Visitor Center in Jurassic Park, the town of Whoville, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and even exterior scenes there in Helms Retreat, all inside of Soundstage 12. So the picture on your screen is what a soundstage looks like when there's nothing built, and the same thing applies to the ones on our left-hand side. While they are a little bit smaller, you can still build a set upwards of 3 stories tall, light it any which way, and most importantly, like I said, block out 98% of the sound. That's exactly what they've been doing inside of those sound stages for Green Crew, and these sound stages for Season 2 of Bel Air, starring Jabari Banks, which debuts on Peacock next Thursday, so be sure to check that out just under a week from now. Now, if we were to turn left, we would pretty quickly leave the studio. You can see Gate 2 directly there, but right next to the gate is Soundstage number 1. That's where Kelly Clarkson films her show, The Kelly Clarkson Show, on NBC. I believe they're actually doing some filming today. I saw a lot of the audience buses drive by. But we are moving deeper into the studio. We get a chance to see the base camp for Bel Air. This is kind of the central hub that they work out of when they're filming here on the lot. You can see some of the hair, makeup, and wardrobe trailers, the assistant director's office to the left. You also have the some of the dressing rooms. Ooh, actually, they've been moved. So you have some of the picture cars over there as well. Now, the actors' dressing rooms are very mobile. They're trailers that fall down from location to location, because this is not the only location that they film at. We'll film TV shows all over the place, in the lot, and all over town. Now, a couple of my favorite movies to be made on the inside of Soundstage 14 include the 1982 classic John Carpenter's The Thing with Kurt Russell. It's a great scary movie, takes place in an Arctic environment, and they pumped in so much air conditioning inside that soundstage you can see the actors' breath as if they were outside in the snow. And then about 10 years after that, Steven Spielberg did the exact opposite. He made it a tropical rainforest for Jurassic Park. You remember Jurassic Park with the Jeep was stuck in the trees or breaking the branches? All of that scene was inside that building. So think about that. That takes place outside at night in the rain in the Costa Rican jungle. None of that is real. That's how realistic, though, they can make these movie sets on the inside of these buildings. And it can be for Universal or it can be for another movie studio. Yeah, we'll rent these spaces out to Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, Paramount, anybody can come out and play. Currently to the right, we're working on a few newer television shows like Killing with Craig Robinson, Quantum Leap with Raymond Lee, and a new television show called Ted TV, starring Seth MacFarlane as Ted the Teddy Bear. You guys remember the movies with Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, you can see Ted standing to our left. He's celebrating with the dirtiest martini I've ever seen in my life. It's like rainwater and dirt. Look how much dust is sitting in. Now, Ted is standing in front of some pretty cool buildings. These bungalows on our left-hand side used to be dressing rooms for Hollywood's biggest stars, like Doris Day and Rock Hudson. The reason why they were practically apartments is because, well, they weren't as mobile as today's stars. They would sign a contract with the entire studio and come here to work almost every day for 5 years. So yeah, we work in a completely different system. So these are now office spaces for some top writers, directors, and production companies. Companies like $7 to our left. That's Dwayne Johnson's production company. The Rock. That's his office. Right next to them, Monkey Paw Productions. That's Jordan Peele's production company. He's the man that brought us 3 amazing movies so far, Get Out, Us, and Nope. Mark Platt Productions, down the alleyway to the left. He created Wicked on Broadway and is turning that into 2 movies for Universal Studios. And probably the most famous bungalow on property, number 5195. That once belonged to the incomparable Sir Alfred Hitchcock. Director of movies like Psycho, Rear Window, Vertigo, The Birds, among many others. He had that office for about 20 years, latter part of his career. Now, there is a lot going on at Universal Studios, not just the theme park, but the movie studio as well. We're expanding like we have not seen ever, really. In the last 7 years, we have built more sound stages on the property than we have built in the last 70 years combined. You're seeing some of the newer stages to our left. currently working on a brand new television show filming today called Lopez vs. Lopez, starring George Lopez and his daughter, Mind Lopez. You can actually see that tonight, Friday nights, on NBC. Now, there's also a lot happening here in the backlot. We're going to leave the front lot behind for the rest of the tour and head into the backlot where we filmed the big stuff. If all of your interiors of your scenes for your movies and television shows are inside those sound stages, this is where you do your exteriors, your big city scenes or big, well, any exterior scenes that you need. Now, the city streets we see to our left-hand side are our Metropolitan sets. They could be any city in the world you want it to be. And it looks like we're driving by them. We're just going to go to the opposite side so that way we can drive through a little bit today. Now, the Metropolitan sets are kind of the culmination of our founder, Carl Laemmle's dream. Not only did he want his own city specifically for his business, he wanted that city to be able to tell stories regardless of where they took place, right? We can tell stories that take place in Los Angeles pretty easily, but you also have things that take place in Chicago, New York, or London, Spain, wherever you want it to be. You're going to be able to travel to those other areas of the world without ever leaving, right? Now, the weather's pretty nice today. What is it today? February 17th. You see what the weather's like? Sunny. You know what it's going to be like in 4 months? Sunny. That is why Hollywood is in Southern California. It's a lot easier to change a sunny day than it is to any other day. But here in about a week or so, the temperature is going to plummet. We're going to have a little bit of rain. It's going to feel much more like London or the UK. Anybody from the UK? Anybody? I'm going to say somebody said yes. Welcome home. Oh yeah, you actually raised your hand. Yay, welcome home. This is London. At least London Square inside our Metropolitan sets. You saw it recently in Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, with Jason Statham, Idris Elba, and Dwayne Johnson. But this is often seen as New York. It's a little bit easier to film in our Metropolitan sets as New York than the real Big Apple. Ask Jimmy Fallon. He films The Tonight Show in New York City. Let's give him a call, see what he's up to.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. I'm walking here. Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
That's right, make it anyway. Thousands of movies, television shows, commercials, music videos, all filmed on these Metropolitan sets. Academy Award-winning movie The Sting with Robert Everett and Paul Newman. This is old Chicago. Share the same streets as superheroes like Captain America, the First Avenger, or Spider-Man, My Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man 2 utilize this corner on the right-hand side for Broadway, where MJ had a Broadway debut. But if you want to see these currently on TV, watch Rutherford Falls on Peacock. You can see that as a different city, different time period, practically every different episode of Quantum Leap on NBC, or even as itself an American Ninja Warrior. It's where they set up their giant obstacle course. Well, we're going to leave the concrete jungle behind and travel to a prehistoric jungle called Skull Island. Here's Peter Jackson to tell us about King Kong 363D.
It's the original King Kong made I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 when I saw it. I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in an inch. Kong literally does that. There's like a ship you're sailing to a lost island, you encounter monsters and creatures from prehistoric times. I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Yeah, we're in for an adventure. Please remain seated, hold on tight, and no flash photography. It scares the animals. We're heading to the home of King Kong, Skull Island. Is King Kong 360 3D. One of the largest and most intense 3D experiences on the planet. Using some of the most advanced technology in filmmaking and real imported dinosaur saliva. Gross. Just one. I don't know who it was, but somebody up in car number 1 has the perfect screen. It was so good. It was you? I knew it. It's so good. Now, is that cool or is that cool? That's the right answer. Go ahead, take off your 3D glasses. Just don't lose them. They're very expensive. Okay, you can tell by how heavy and rigid they are. Okay, you're going to need them a little bit later. That epic battle was produced by director Peter Jackson and the filmmaking crew over at a company called Weta Digital, now known as Weta Effects. They've won 6 Academy Awards over the years for the work on movies like King Kong, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, James Cameron's Avatar, and Disney's The Jungle Book. That attraction is also projected on movie screens about 3 times as large as IMAX screens, all to make the world of Skull Island and King Kong come to life.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing kind of this side and the T-Rexes from the other side. Working on a movie, who else more people are looking for the other shot we're working on. Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving around through Skull Island is where the camera's from. The screen represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting it to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Now, you might have noticed, but when we were in Skull Island, not only did we see some dinosaurs in King Kong, we even saw our own tram projected onto the screen. Remember the T-Rex bit into us? The moment we saw our tram on screen, we saw a picture car. That's any vehicle you see in a movie or television show. We have even more recognizable ones over on our left-hand side. Have your cameras ready as we pass the sign. We'll start with the yellow Deuce Coupe from American Graffiti with Harrison Ford, Ron Howard. Magnum PI's Ferrari is actually a Volkswagen. It's built to look like a Ferrari. It's one of the stunt cars. Some very famous Back to the Future picture cars, including the flying ones from Part 2. They traveled to the very futuristic year of 2015. You can go to the past to the Flintstones. And while there's only one flying car in Harry Potter, we have over a dozen of that picture car, ranging from perfect condition to post-swamping look. The gyrosphere from Jurassic World, it's not missing the glass bubble, it was all CGI, computer-generated imagery, because if we used a real one, all of the reflections would be straight back at the camera. A couple of the newer additions from Jordan Peele's Us and Nope. And that tank is lean, mean, and made of particle board. Yeah, it's mostly wood. Makes it a little bit easier to move it, and also that was used in Transformers, directed by Michael Bay. So what do you think that Michael Bay did to that tank? He blew it up, set it on fire multiple times. Because it's wood and you could just put the pieces back together, you have another tank. Real explosions and fire in a movie are called practical effects. Practical effects are used because they look cool, and it also makes your computer effects, your CGI computer-generated imagery, look that much more realistic on your movie screen. We blend those things together all the time. And we've been doing it for decades, including for a movie that is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year that we did with director Steven Spielberg.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park is turning 30. That happened quick. On either side of the tram, we have actual movie set pieces, props, and picture cars that you can see in the first 3 Jurassic Park movies, first 2 of which directed by Mr. Spielberg. On the left-hand side, you have this double RV-looking vehicle. That is the Mobile Lab you saw in the Lost World Jurassic Park with Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, and Vince Vaughn. Just like the tank we saw earlier, that too is made mostly out of wood. Makes it a little bit easier not only to move it, but also push it off a cliff like they did for this scene. Oh, right in the mouth. Oh, that's not good. Oh, they're going after cartoon. I guess everyone gets attacked. Everyone gets attacked. Oh, God. If you thought those were bad, wait to see what this big guy does. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. It doesn't do anything. You're waiting for it. Guy in the middle ducked, but had the camera pointed perfect. He was ready for it. That's true camera work right there. Now, we didn't just make Universal, or Jurassic Park here at Universal, right? We'll film big budget movies all over the world. We call that on location. Now, when we were in Hawaii filming Jurassic Park, we had to shut down production for a good 2 weeks because it kept raining, which is ironic because that's exactly what happens in the movie. The island is devastated by a tropical storm, but we're not going to film in real rain just because it takes place in our movie. That would be dangerous. Anytime you see rain falling from the sky, it could be rain, or water falling from the sky, I should say. It could be rain, sleet, snow, Sharknado. It is all going to be done artificially, like what we're going to show you here in Old Mexico. Now, typically, you would not have thunder on set like this. You want it to be quiet, but we're not recording any actors today. We don't need to worry about it. The lightning we see is a big strobe light, pretty easy to do, and there's no sunlight, even better. But we still need rain, right? So I'm going to go ahead and activate the rain. There you go. Just like that, you're going to have a rainy day. Now, we get our rain by using a super high-tech, sophisticated system called sprinklers. That's all it is. As long as the camera doesn't see the sprinkler above its head, we're good to go. But notice, we need to put out about 4 or 5 times as much water than what you're going to see in your movie. Cameras do not see the same thing that we do. All right? They can't pick up light the same way. That does cause some issues. It's already starting to pool and flood. We don't drain here very well. Like I said, it's normally sunny in Southern California, so any amount of water typically just does that. Oops. Hold your breath. Oh, no. Well, good luck, Fallon. Don't worry, all not an axle flash flood. That's a result of thousands of gallons of water being released just like they did in this scene of Big Fat Liar, Paul Giamatti, Amanda Bynes, and Frankie Muniz. You can also see that flood in a couple of music videos for songs like Bungalows by Enrique Iglesias and Judas by Lady Gaga. As we roll forward, some of you might recognize this part of Old Mexico as Mexico and Nacho Libre, starring Jack Black. This is also seen as the Pirate City of Tortuga in Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, with Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom. So a lot of your favorite movies and television shows are going to reuse the same exact corner of Universal Studios, but we won't recognize it because they'll change